let the games begin here at Happy Valley. Lean Masters coming for William Buick. Sergeant Pepper on the outside. A great battle. Photo. Prince Alex now has moved up and taken the lead for the Kiwi McDonald. He's fighting back. Prince Alex clinging on. He wins. Prince Alex, he's won it for the Kiwi J-Mac. Silo, Soleil Fighter down the outside, M Unicorn. Athleticism dashing late. Soleil Fighter in front for Holly Doyle. Hanging tough. Soleil Fighter. It is Aurora Lady who is off and gone here, and so too is Barcelona with the 2024 IJC. What a win!
Gia Velotto has run past them all. Gia Velotto won the Vase. California Spangle has it by a neck. Kar-Ying Rising sitting pretty on his outside. Kar-Ying Rising in front. He's too clear. He'll win it. Voyage Bubble is the leader. He's gone clear of Beauty Eternal. He's 3 in front over Beauty Eternal. Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the king of the mile. Romantic Warrior, he's come up outside the 3. Romantic Warrior, he's taken over 2 on Liberty Island. It's history at Shatin.
It is a week like no other. Absolutely loved being there. Our own tour had a great time. Welcome everyone to a brand new season of the Triple Trio with the best form analysts in the business, and the other guy is the Hall of Famer in Shane Dye. Hutchi, great memories of a wonderful week.
Yeah, loved all those little clips of HKIR 2024, and let's hope that 2025 can kick off as well as 2024 ended. It was a fantastic. We had a lot of memorable moments, and we're going to create plenty of memories going forward too, Richo.
Golden Boy, welcome to another brand new season. Great memories there, led by the mighty Romantic Warrior.
I thought he was awesome. It was my highlight of the week, him. He's just a great horse. He tries his heart out. James rides him so well, and he's a great credit for an ambassador for Hong Kong racing.
Oh, no doubting that. And also, well done to you. So there was thousands and thousands of Australians who are clearly subscribers to Hutchie's Honkers who were following you on Wednesday and then on Sunday, and you were enormous pressure onto your shoulders, and you just lifted and delivered.
We had a good week. We had a good week, and we were certainly pretty busy there, no question about that. So, like I said, we'll hope that January can maintain the level. It was a good month. We had a couple of good plays. And I mean, it played pretty straight the actual international day, didn't it? I think with the favoured horses performing nicely, although Gia Velotto in the Vase was a good result for us. So if you're not involved, make sure you get involved. There's the website. We're having a good season, and hopefully we can keep it going with all the hard work. Talking of hard work, Richo.
Yeah.
Shane, have you seen this gentleman alongside me? I don't think anybody. I don't know if there's a show that he's not on at the moment. Actually,
mate, I've got a photo of him in my bedroom. Right? I had to actually put it down and put it in the closet because I see him enough on TV.
Well, it's exactly what it's about.
Hang on, there's a bit to unpack there. You've got a photo of me in your bedroom?
This is a concern.
Oh, mate, you're my idol.
But now, we've got a shot of you at the cricket here recently.
Oh, what am I
doing? Now, look at this, Richo. Now, you have been on every show. What's going on here? Is that you jumping out of the way?
No, I was doing an interview at that stage.
Oh.
Right next to there, and see, this was me doing the interview.
Right.
Check out this. How close this guy got.
Oh my gosh, it did get close.
Yeah.
Did you jump out of the way?
No, mate.
You sure?
Look, I haven't even moved.
You're nice and calm there. Because on the other shot, I thought, he's
that
not
was
very brave. I was worried he was getting out of the way, but now he's fine.
I would have gone diving full length and tried to catch it, but apparently
I thought Christmas and we were having a break. It's a holiday period and everyone has a holiday, but you seem to work more than ever.
No,
it's cricket season, my friend, and right here on 7 Sport we do the cricket. So guess what? time to roll up your sleeves.
And it's been a good season.
It's been a great season, and we'll rest when it's all over for me, which won't be too far away. Hey, we've got a huge show coming up on the Triple Trio. What about our star power guest? Not only Blake Shinn, it's fantastic for him to be flying in on Sunday, but also Harry Bentley, who is a friend to the show. So looking forward to chatting to both of them. All the best bets, of course. We'll analyse the Group 1 races. They're part of the Whirlpool, so we'll talk about that and a lot more. And also a little future winners, Hong Kong Derby look as well. So much to dissect. But let's get stuck into Sunday. We're going to analyse one race in particular on Sunday. Let's find some winners. Of course, it's a Group 1 race day, so we're going to look at the Group 1s, especially with Blake Shinn, and that's going to be really fascinating to get his insight. But let's start with race number 10. Yeah,
race 10. The Derby, obviously, a couple of months away now, and there's a few races that will be very key with regard to that. Mickley, Stunning Peach are two of them that will be. Don't have the prices up for this, although I will have Mickley a favourite in the race, and we will discuss him a little later in the card as well. But this is what he did when he won. Now, he put up a good number on this occasion. What does have me concerned, Shane, and I know he's had excuses since, and we can touch on those a bit later, but there's been 12 horses to compete out of this race. Not one of them has run a place, and some of them have had multiple chances. So it's a little bit of a knock on the form. Outside of that, Bravehearts, well, he's a horse that you've liked, Shane. You've been sticking with him, and he's going particularly well.
He's flying. Like for Mark, he's had 3 wins and a third in the 4 runs, and he's going to run the 2,000 metres. He may not have found his rating yet because he's on his way up, and he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, he's done very little wrong. He is a 5-year-old, so he won't be one of the horses with regard to the Derby we're talking about, but he's a winner, and Mark Newnham's got him absolutely flying. In fact, Mark's got his stable firing.
Yeah, he certainly has. So there's the field. Very Autobot, just great to see him have a little spin around. But that horse number 2 is really fascinating.
Stunning Peach, he jumped the mark on the track accordingly at the Valley. That was on IJC night, if you remember, the final race of the night. And he was badly held up in the straight. He may still have won that race. Supreme Agility is very well in at the weights. Now, here he is third last in the mauve, pale blue colours.
Oh, yeah.
Zach goes searching for an inside run with Stunning Peach on this occasion. You can see here, and it just doesn't open up for him. Chilchilby wins the race. Now, we know Chilchilby from last year's Derby. I think he ran 4th or 5th from memory, but he wasn't too far away, but a good lead, and he's a good valley horse. And Stunning Peach, Shane, do you think he would have won that night, even after jumping the track, after settling back in the field? Do you think he would have come through and won with even luck?
Yeah, I think he would have won that race. There's no risk. He's had a couple of trials since. He's done nothing wrong. He's a lovely horse. Overseas, I know he's going 2,000 metres for the first time in Hong Kong. He won over 1,800 last year. This is his trial, of course. But he did run second in France in a Group 1 2-year-old race over 2,000 metres. Yeah. I've got no qualms about the 2,000 for him. Now, Mickley, he's different. He's by a sprinting sire. Right, I know he won over a mile in Europe, but he's bred to sprint that horse on the sire's side. So he looks as though he's going to run 2,000 metres, and I think he should have won his last 2 races. But he's interesting to see whether he will actually run it out strong. But I think he will, but he's not bred to.
I've got to say this, it's just a very strange program with Mickley backing up. Going to 2,000. It's not the program I thought John Size would have had mapped out. We'll get an idea. He won the Britannia at Royal Ascot, but Stunning Peach will get the trip. I wasn't in love with the trial, so it's an interesting race.
How do you see it, Shane? Who have you got on top?
I got Stunning Peach on top from Mickley, and then Bravehearts. And I think they pricked themselves. But there's a lot of nice horses in this. Down the bottom, a horse called Naval Force got home last start, run well. Nosy Boy's going good, really good. So there's a couple down there. And then Romantic Thor is just a dead-set stayer who wants 2,400. And if he gets to the front, he's not going to stop. He had good European form, and he keeps going the same pace. So it's a really good race for the future, and especially for the Derby.
Yeah, and keep your eye on Cambridge making its Hong Kong debut as well with those international form references. So that's one of the questions that we'll ask Blake Shinn. He'll be our star power guest next. Fantastic to be joined by a star jockey who's jetting into Sha Tin on Sunday in Blake Shinn, who joins us now. Blake, always great to catch up, mate, and you must be excited to get over there and especially to jump on your old mate Galaxy Patch.
Yeah, g'day guys. Really looking forward to going back to Hong Kong and, as you say, reuniting with Galaxy Patch. We went so close in the derby, so it'd be pretty special if we can get that big group one on him on the weekend.
And Hutch, the Stewards Cup is a terrific race.
It's a good race. Here's my market. I've got Galaxy Patch around that 350 mark. Voyage Bubble, of course, won the Hong Kong Mile at 2:15. I think it's predominantly between the two. Patch of Theta makes the lineup. But tactically, it's an interesting race. It's probably, Blake, quite similar to the lead-in race to the Hong Kong Mile, where a lot of these horses lined up against each other in a smaller field, and there was an excuse for Galaxy Patch that day when he got caught wide without cover and just the way the race unfolded. We're taking a look at, of course, the Hong Kong Mile where Voyage Bubble went forward and won. What was your view on this run? He was incredibly unlucky in it, and also the race prior that I know you would have had a good look at. Like his form reads really well. He just probably hasn't had things go his way his last couple.
Yes, correct. No, I totally echo everything that you said there, Hutch. He's been running well, just without a lot of luck. He's a horse that tends to get back, and you obviously needs a fair bit of luck when you have a racing pattern like his. But the form is pretty much around all the horses that are contesting this race in the Hong Kong Mile as we're looking at. So that's a great form reference, and he was very unlucky. So if we can give him a trouble-free run on the weekend, I certainly believe he's definitely up to winning one of these big ones.
Yeah, Pierre called on you, of course, when to ride in the Derby. I know it was a focus just to get him to settle, because throughout his career he's over-raced. From that perspective, the low draw here, are you happy with that? There's a nice opportunity to get a smother early.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to utilise the draw a little bit, but I haven't discussed anything with Pierre. He'll tell me how he wants me to ride the horse, and I'll do what he says. If he can lob a few legs closer than he did in that race that we're just watching the Hong Kong Mile, well, it's certainly going to be advantageous for him. He's got the draw to be able to hold a little bit if he can, and we know he's got a devastating finish. But there looks a little bit of speed in the race just at first glance. So I think the barrier draw drawing inside's only a plus for us.
Shane, what have you made of the way he's trialled up for this?
Good. He's had easy trials. He's done nothing wrong. I thought he probably should have won the International Mile. His 2 runs have been very good. He's going to be very hard to beat. As Blake said, the thing to do is get him into the clear from the turn on, and he'll hit the line, and he's going to be extremely hard to beat. Small field actually helps him, I think. Sometimes they don't go as fast in a small field, but there is pace here. Like, what's her name? California Spangle's going to lead, of course. Patch of Theta or Box Seed, and you've got a couple that are going to go forward like Chang Ching Glory and, of course, Beauty Eternal, unless they ride him different. So he's going to get back, and he's just going to get to the outside and get over top of them.
You did mention Patch of Theta. Nicole caught up with Karis Teeton for his thoughts.
Yeah, Nicole, he's a horse that's, I believe it's been improving all the time, since last season. He's never run a bad race, and I thought his win last time in a Group 3 was a good win. I've worked him since then, and the horse has come on. So, of course, it's going to be a big step, taking on some really good horses. Of course, big respect to Voyager Bubble, but our horse is an improving horse.
Beauty Eternal, Hutch, do you give a chance to?
No, not really. I think when he won the Champions Mile at the end of the year, there's a track bias.
Yeah.
Got the right ride. He's never far away. I think the trials have been pretty good. I don't think the map's good for him, gate 8. I think he's way better on the fence, and he's not going to get there. So for me, I didn't really rate him as much of a chance. I think it's predominantly between Galaxy Patch for Blake, and I think obviously Voyage Bubble will have a map advantage. I think that's the key plus for Voyage Bubble. And Patch of Theta, it's a big step up for him, but he was impressive off a good speed the other day. And I think he can measure up on looking at his speed figures.
So you've got Voyage Bubble on top. You think just the map position, I mean, that's the challenge for Blake, to try to get a Galaxy Patch close enough without getting him out of his comfort zone.
Look, Voyage Bubble might be odds on, so I might be having something on Galaxy Patch. I think he's good enough to win. I mean, you watch that replay of the Hong Kong Mile and you think, wow, you go pretty close if you get a clean run. It's hard to say if he would have won. Shane thinks he would have. You know one thing, he goes very close. So there's not a major argument. It is head-to-head, however, 3-1 in favour of Voyage Bubble. So that is something to... But there's been excuses for Galaxy Patch in a couple of those defeats.
Shane, what do you think?
I got Galaxy Patch on top. I've got him on top from Voyage Bubble. Voyage Bubble's had beautiful runs and beautiful rides. Tomorrow he's not going to get such a run, I don't think. From gate 4, he's going to be one back, one out, which puts them a spot further back. And Galaxy Patch isn't going to be as far back. That's if Zach goes forward on Beauty Eternal. If Beauty Eternal doesn't go forward, then James might have the opportunity to be outside of California Spangle, which will only benefit Voyage Bubble. But if he gets back, one out, it's a different ball game. Let's
pivot towards the Centenary Sprint Cup. And Blake, this would be like having a day at Rosehill or at Flemington when you look in the jockeys' room and it's Purton, Bowman, McDonald, Abdullah, Shinn and Williams. You're all together.
Yeah, Richo, it's good. It's good to be there. In obviously another country with a lot of sort of the expat jockeys from Australia going there and or being there at the time. So, I pretty much know most of sort of their idiosyncrasies, the boys. So it's that's important. But it's just great to be like there amongst such an elite calibre of riders from our home country.
And Blake, he's a bit disappointing the other day, Beauty Waves, but I suppose his form prior had been pretty good and, below the obvious favourites in the race, so the favourite, he's sort of in the mix with a couple of those others.
Yes, for sure. Obviously the standout is David Hayes' horse and Zach's, but, Beauty Waves has never ever run a bad race. You just have to look at his form. He's an ultra consistent horse. Whether he's up to the top echelon of the Group 1 sprinters is remains to be seen. But I thought his run in the Hong Kong Sprint had a lot of merit. He was back to 1,000 metres on that day and probably was better suited over a bit further. So he comes back to 1,200. He's drawn favourably. He's going to get, a pretty economical run from barrier 2. So, look, I'm hoping that he can figure in the prize money. And, look, if there's a boil over, he might be the one to do it.
And you mentioned Hayes' horse, of course, it is Car Ying Rising, and Nicole caught up with David Hayes for his thoughts.
Yeah, we're really happy with him. He went up to Chung Fa after the race, which is China, and he thrived. Put on lovely condition after that hard run in the International. Then we gave him an easy trial with Zach on the other day against Hong Kong's best horses, and Zach didn't really let him go, but he managed to win the trial not really trying, so we're very happy with that. And then this morning he did a bit of easy, fast work, and we couldn't be happier with him. I think he'll be spot on the weekend.
Looking back on the Hong Kong Sprint, what did you make of the race and his performance?
Visually, it wasn't as impressive as he has been, but if you know what went on with missing the start and getting in a three-way speed duel, to sprint away, hang on against the best sprinters in the world, it was a great effort. But I think you might get a good visual this weekend.
Oh, gosh, he sounds confident, doesn't he?
I think he's absolutely spot on. I think that, we have to take into account that performance, what happened. He didn't step great. He was, vied for the lead. He was going to be empty late, but he still won. I mean, whilst David says this didn't back up what the horse had been doing visually, it didn't back it up on the clock either. It was actually his worst performance of the season. So when you're putting the worst performance in terms of ratings of the season and you can still win, I think it bodes very well. I thought that trial was unbelievably good. You'll see him bounce back. It's a nice race for him. It's a perfect barrier. Zach can work across. He's going to get the right run. He can half force the jockey's hands inside of him in terms of tempo. And if he turns up in his form prior to this or even this form, he's going to be extremely hard to beat. But I thought, Shane, this was an incredibly brave performance. As Zach said post-race, he had anything but an ideal run on the day.
I think what actually happened this day was the start before. Like, he was so impressive the start before, Clint, and he ran a course record and it looked as though he won an easy. But when you're breaking records of 20 and 30 years, it's got to take more out of you than you realise. And I think that's what's happened. That performance 2 starts ago was unbelievable. No horse in the world could have done it, right? And he's come into this, and you see it a lot, Clint, and you would know this with ratings. When you do a figure like he did that day, the next figure always drops, doesn't it? It never goes above it. It's got to drop. And that's what happened there. That figure dropped. He was disappointing, I thought. I know he won and everything, and I'm one of his biggest fans. But he didn't go how he had been going. Gate 8 is perfect. Like, he'll come across and be 3 deep or outside the leader. And there's nothing wrong with 3 wide on the A track. A lot of horses win 3 deep as long as Zach gets them in rhythm. Zach knows him. He rides them great. He's too good. He's one of the best sprinters the world's ever seen.
Yeah, the only thing was his other 3 races leading into it, they all rated pretty similar. So it wasn't what Shane's saying may be right. Maybe it was they went to the well one too many times. But anyways, the one to beat, it's up for grabs for second though.
Yeah, well, Helios Express in that replay held up, unlucky, runs second. Now, with any sort of luck, and if Carrying Rising's having a flat day, he might have been able to nut him on the line and capitalise on that flat day, but Carrying Rising is still that good that he's able to still win. Nicole caught up with Huey Bowman with his thoughts on Helios Express.
Nicole, his most recent trial was really encouraging. He obviously trialled against the headline horse, but he trialled well. He's not a particular lover of the all-weather track and rarely trials well. His previous trial before that, I asked him to do a bit of work and he had a good blow after that. So I feel like his progression from that last race has been very good. He continues to develop as an individual, and I think we could expect a similar, if not better, performance than last start.
Blake, I'm keen for you to race against Carrying Rising to see how good he is so you can give us some sort of assessment. There's been discussions about, gee, wouldn't it be great if he came for a race like the Everest in Sydney? So I'm keen for you to get a bit of a gauge about him.
Sunday's going to be an interesting race with the new trainer, Victor, the winner, and how aggressive they want to be from 1, and with Craig on magic control. So hopefully, from my point of view, there'll be a bit of pressure applied to the favourite, making it work to get across, and the horses with a stalking run can run on. But as you guys have alluded to, he's put up some massive runs, and it's hard to keep backing up. And I know he's with a phenomenal trainer, David Hayes. But us rivals are looking to see him hopefully crack and make it advantageous for one of the other horses in the race.
It's a really good point you make about Victor the winner. Now with David Eustace, Danny Shum lost him to David Eustace, and drawn gate 1 is the biggest plus of all time for Victor the winner. He can probably get the lead this time instead of sitting outside Zach, as he said in the Hong Kong Sprint. And Zach might be happy to sit outside him. But Victor the winner did trial well for the new stable. They put blinkers on in the trial. They're not on here. But I wouldn't be surprised if Victor the winner ran a much improved race, and we'll have to wait and see how it transpires. But could be a horse that improves.
But Carrying Rising's clearly the one
I've got
that just wins.
$1.25 in my market, so he tips himself. I think you'll see him bounce back. I like Victor the winner drawn 1 as well. Helios is an obvious one to be the danger, and I think How Deep Is Your Love's in the mix as well. But it's all about the favourite, and I think you'll see him go back to those other figures that he posted early in the season.
Shane, simple as that, Carrying?
Yeah, I've got him on top. I've got the same as Clint. It's not hard to pick those 3. They stand out as that. He should win. If he does what he does 2 starts ago, he wins by 3 or 4 lengths. It's as simple as that. He's just too good.
Blake, you've been doing some good work clearly with the network that you've got in Hong Kong, because by gee, you've got a great book of rides, mate.
Yeah, we've feel pretty lucky to get represented with 10 rides and have the support of some long-term supporters like Casper Founds, who's thrown me 3 or 4 rides, and Pierre's given me 5 rides, so that's exciting. And then also having the support of Jamie Richards. So I feel extremely grateful for these guys' support, and to ask me to come over and to be represented with 10 rides. And I think a few of them hopefully will figure amongst the the top end of the placings. They look quite some good rides that I've been lucky enough to get.
Hutch, tell him about race number 3.
Yeah, I think Flying Luck's got a very good chance. Blake, a bit unlucky the other day. He sort of got shuffled back through the field, and he could have actually been more positive early, and he got into a spot and then didn't work out for him. But I'm sure if you haven't seen this replay, you'll take a look at it. But trust me, the horse is going well. You're nicely drawn, and if he can turn up in the same sort of form, he'll be very hard to beat.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I've done a little bit of study, just working my way through it all now, getting prepared for the weekend. But as I don't need to tell you how to do the format. He looks like he's been running well and desperately desperately ready to win. So hopefully he can have a bit of luck on the weekend and get another win on the board for him.
Well, in race number 10, you're riding a horse called Cambridge, and this might help you, Blake. The G1 Goldmine stats on him.
Interesting, Blake. Obviously, this horse purchased with regard to the Derby, and this is the first time we're going to see him. I know you haven't been on his back. We haven't seen him up in Hong Kong yet, but just from a Derby point of view, obviously this import's got good form and bred to get the trip. He's got form over a little bit of ground. I thought his trial was okay. Has Pierre just sort of have you had a chance to sort of discuss the horse at all at this stage and potentially going forward with him?
Well, he did. Pierre did say that this is a Derby horse of his. He's got quite a light weight, so he was keen for me to ride the horse, and some obviously a big owner. So I think this is an important horse for Pierre. He wanted me to get down to 122 and ride him. So look, his form overseas is pretty strong when you're at Dante, and we had a bit of luck once before on an ex-Aidan O'Brien horse, Russian Empress. So hopefully he can follow in the same footsteps.
And Blake, have a very good weekend, mate. You're going to be very, very busy. Enjoy it all. Thanks for your time.
No, absolute pleasure, guys. Good luck. Thank you.
What a star he is. So Blake Shinn there with his assessment and a big book of rides. All right, we're going to find some future winners on the other side. Now's the time of the show, Hutch, where you find future winners, the world-famous form files. No doubt you've been still analysing it while we've been on a break. Got anything into the file?
Oh, I do, Richo. Just something that's always worth looking back, no matter how a race rates in terms of its time. I want to try and go back and find races that are good form references, and I've found one here. So there's a stack of winners to come out of this race with Honlock Golf. We've got the eventual winner. He came out and won his next start. Sky Joy's another one. New Future, folks. They put the blinkers on this day. They took it off. He finished third in this race. He came out and won. And then back in 7th and 8th, Packing Angels won 2, and a horse called Another World's won 2. So this is a good form reference. So what do we get from it? We've got to look for those horses that finished in amongst them, and one of those is Blue Baron. So he's the widest runner of all there. Now, he hasn't competed since this race. He actually hasn't had a trial, so I'm not sure, and he hasn't missed any work either, so I'm not sure exactly what's transpired. Maybe they're just taking a bit of time with him. Maybe it knocked him around a little bit for his first career start. But this is a good form reference with winners. It's another way to try and find future winners. As we know, it's a bit old-fashioned in terms of there's a lot of winners out of the race. Blue Baron, he'll probably trial in the not-too-distant future. Let's follow him. Let's have a look. And he's a horse well worth following.
What about Sweet in Defeat file? This is where we have your own black booker here.
Yeah, we've got quite a few. Well, we've got one run. This was an enormous performance from Low Rider recently. Missed the start by 5 lengths. He actually bounded, reared in the air, and he sort of jumped up, lost 5 lengths and got badly held up in the straight. He may still have won after missing the start as bad as he did. And during the week, we had Spicy Gold. Have a look at this. So he jumps up. That's a really dangerous thing. We've seen Dwayne Dunn have a bad injury with that when they rear up like that. Luckily, Huey didn't knock his head on the top of the stalls. But look, he's missed it by 5. Look how far detached from the field he is. What does he do? He does exactly what Shane always says. Don't push them. Wait. Take your time. And Hugh, at this stage of the race, is building beautifully into the race. Look at this. Now, the eventual winner's on his outside, Embraces in the red cap. He's done no work, and he's about to launch late there. He runs into a little bit of trouble. But I tell you what, Shane, I don't know. Do you think he would have won? He would have gone very close. And I tell you what, it was some sort of run in defeat.
Well, he's got to run at least third. That's you can't dispute that. And he probably goes close to winning. There wouldn't have been much in it. His run was very, very good. And I suppose he's heading towards the Derby too.
Yeah, he's going to need to get his rating up. So that's the key thing for him. But I think there's 2. And, of course, Spicy Gold during the week was off the track the whole way. It was a horror watch, and we were on.
Yes, we were, and we're still trying to get over it. But thanks for bringing that back up. Golden Boy, your time to shine. It's idle time. Who caught your eye?
This was an outstanding ride, and we're going to play the whole race because there's 3 or 4 passages during the race. This is Matthew Poon on Dragon Joy. Now, watch this out of the gates. He's looking. and he comes straight back on purpose to go to the fence. That's a good thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that. So he's going to ride the fence. He gets up here, he relaxes the horse, and you're going to see eventually he gets behind the horse in the red and the black, which is Huey Bowman on Mickley in front of it, who probably should have won, actually, if he had got a clear run. Now, he's on the fence, Matthew, and he's going to ride the fence, but he realises here he doesn't like his position. He's going to be 5 back the fence. And also this day, they were coming down the outside, if you realise that. They're all winning off the fence. So he pops off the fence here in the yellow colours to follow the favourite, Mickley, the horse to beat in the race. And he's done nothing wrong. He's just ridden it perfectly. But up here, he makes a decision to come out 3 deep, follow another chance in the race, which was in the white and blue colours. So he's relaxed the horse. He comes out here now 3 deep. This is just perfect. Now he comes out to give himself a clear run. He's wasted no energy. He's got about 115 pounds. Now, this is another factor here. He doesn't go for the stick and he doesn't push too hard. He lets the horse get into a stride. And that's a big thing to do in a race. You don't want to go for them straight away. So he builds it up. When he feels the horse has got into its full stride, he pulls the stick. He rides it hard. He changes the stick when he lays in from his left to right hand, and he gets there on the line. That is just a 10 out of 10 ride. So full credit. It was a jockey who was thinking the whole race, Clint.
Yeah, it was, and he's been riding well, Matthew Pern. I mean, the numbers suggest that. Sometimes you can be lucky in terms of, I suppose, your association with certain horses, but that ride that you highlighted, I think, was excellent. He rode a winner at the Valley recently where he tactically was spot on as well, so no fluke about Matthew Pern doing what he's doing.
Okay, so how do the votes look for this week then, Shane?
Oh, there's a few. Well, Zach's just riding so well this season. He's on another level, right? He gets through. Brendan Novella's going good. He rode a few winners over the past 2 meetings, like Ruby Lot, and they were good rides. Matthew gets 2 for that, and Huey had a treble and rode them sensational. I probably would have given him more points, but he had a bad day last Sunday where he should have rode 2 or 3 winners, so I deducted him a little bit for that. Derek rode Dragon 4 Stars that gave it a perfect ride. And Karras has had a bit of a quiet season, but gave a horse who before the race couldn't win a perfect ride in front. It was gone. He was very strong on it and fought back and won on the line at big odds.
2025 and Shane's deducted one. I mean, it's not sort of there because Huey still got one.
Yeah.
But things are turning.
It's about time. That's what I would say.
You know,
he's been far too nice.
He did have a bad day last Sunday, Huey riding.
Yeah, he did.
He should have a couple of winners, but didn't. So when I was assessing Wednesday night, and Huey rode really well, he rode treble and gave them all good rides. I thought, well, yeah, but Sunday you did this, so let's not give you 2 or 3.
Nice. I like it.
I like it. It's about time he's got a little,
He's back. He's back.
He is.
He's back.
He's clearly no longer in love. Interesting, Karras Teaton's got 19 wins. And Matthew Pern, 20 wins for the season. Of course, Zach's off and away. And Shane, appropriately, he is absolutely dominating the Idol this year.
Yeah, he's on track to break the record, I think. You know, he's not going to... The problem with Zach this year has been James McDonald. When he come, it probably cost Zach 8 to 10 winners.
Yeah.
And that could be the difference between breaking the record or not.
Well, here is...
When he broke the record, he didn't have James here for that season, you know. He's on track.
And there's your assessment right there. So the Zach tracker... and at the moment, 60 versus that 170 season where he was 70 roughly at the same time. So he's had a terrific December, hasn't he? And hey, well done to the Hong Kong Jockey Club. What they're doing with the little bell and the total as he charges towards Douglas White, I reckon that's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, all they need is the Kylie Minogue music. You can ring my bell and it'd be just be perfect, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know if it was Kylie Minogue. I think Colette sang that, but anyway.
Let's go with that too.
Ring the bell anyway. Oh, we love what we're doing.
About a somersault when he breaks it off the horse like Frankie Dettori or something.
Yeah.
The horse he actually breaks it. I don't think he'll be doing that. He'll be too worried about his injuries. I know I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, well, you can do everything. fascinating time of the year.
Well, it's the race every owner in Hong Kong wants to win. It's the big race in Hong Kong. Whilst they have the international days and those are massive days, this is, from a local point of view, the race that all the owners want to win. And
Are we going this year?
So much money. We'll be having our usual function down here on Derby Day, and you'll be there.
Yeah, and I love it.
Bells and whistles on. So we've got the Classic Mile, the Cup, and obviously the Derby coming up. So pretty open this year, Richo. It's got to be said. So we're going to have a lot of stats in the coming weeks in terms of, horses, what you need to do. Just a little bit, something slightly different in terms of looking at the Derby.
What about Ruby Lot on the weekend? Is it a key factor now into the Derby?
Well, this was the highest rated win last week.
Yeah.
He's a son of Rubik, and you would not think that, necessarily the mile would be suited. I think Rubik, my form guru, stats man, who shall remain nameless, told me that 4 of 13 winners, stakes winners from Rubik, have actually won over a mile. So he was really strong. Lovely ride from Brenton Avdullah. Saved the ground, powered home late. He's improved. He's going really well. There's a good run in the race as well from Packing Hermod, but this was the peak figure from last week. I don't think a mile will be a problem for him, but beyond a mile, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Young champion, I'm going to consistently do my dough. He runs a good race, but it finds one better. He ran well there.
That was a race that was actually put on by the racing club or named after them, so the horse would have been set. The runner-up started favourite. A lot of Zach rides.
Yeah.
Ran a good second.
Yeah, correct. Have you got a ranking system? I know each and every year you start with your ranking system. Who have you got at the top at the moment?
We do. We've had a bit of success with this. Of course, we had Voyage Bubble on top a couple of years ago. Oh, okay. Really interesting. It's very even. So I've got 15 in total. These are the top 8 on this graphic. Now, Cap Ferrat has only had one run in Hong Kong, and believe it or not, Richo, still a maiden. He was placed, of course, behind Riff Rocket in Australia, and also the second horse, Chow Wolf. So, gee whiz, it's good form.
Yeah, he was trained by Chris Waller.
Yes.
Yep.
Mickley, Packing Hermod. Now, these are all, just to note, these are weight adjusted, and this is off their peak figure. So it's not the body of work they've put together necessarily. This is actually just adjusted to weight and what their peak performance is. So there we have it, about 5.5 lengths, but with the top 15. I'd say, Shane, with the top probably, half that field have got to be a big query over the trip. I think you can narrow it down. One that won't be a query over the trip, I don't think, is Silvery Breeze, is quite low down there, but he's been running pretty well. But it's an open picture at this stage of the season. That's my sort of look at it. What about yourself?
Just remember, this time last year, no one had even heard of the Derby winner.
Yeah.
He hadn't been cited.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it yet. It's a long way to go. We may not have seen him. Like, he hadn't stood out, but he will soon. Come February, you'll know the Derby winner, but it's still too early.
That is a little unusual, though. That path is very unusual. Most of the time, you will have seen Derby winners. In fact, we'll talk and we'll show a graphic that shows, what sort of recipe you need to win a Hong Kong Derby, how many races you've won before, or are you a winner, and things like that. So we'll have that in the coming weeks.
Very excited about a new segment. It's called Stats Behind the Saddle, and it's his idea.
It is. It's something that I've created, Richo. This is a Who Am I? And this is a little competition between you and Shane. If you can come up with who I am talking about, because I've got some stats here that...
If it's Hong Kong based, he's going to have the advantage.
Yeah, but you watch plenty of it.
Okay, sure.
You watch plenty of it. Now, just with the first one we're going to do this week, this Who Am I?
Okay.
Now, it is a jockey. It includes as well visiting riders.
Oh, okay, that's important.
So that might be...
Oh, hello.
It might be a little hint.
Yeah, hello.
It might not be.
Okay.
Of current jockeys in Hong Kong since 2015-16, and I needed the glass on to read all these stats, of the best winning percentage on riding favourites.
Richo?
37.3%.
Mick Canaan.
Is going early since 2015-16.
Oh, I didn't hear that bit. Okay, we're in your hands. Go on, boy. Keep going.
Number
You can get all the...
If you backed my mounts below $5, you would have won 29 of 96 bets with a profit on turnover of 12%.
Oh, hello.
So who could this be? I've won 13 from 144 rides on the all-weather track at a profit of turnover of 5.7%.
Really? Okay.
And this is probably the big giveaway. Can either one of you... Now, you both would have seen this race as well.
Yes.
Last year, I won the Bohemia Sprint Trophy on WizKid.
Is it...
Richo, I'll let you go first, mate. I'll give you a chance here, okay?
Well, I would have thought it was because you keep saying that it was a sort of zoom in jockey. Is it? James?
No, I said it includes them. I didn't say this was one.
You let me.
This might have been a little googly. Might have been a little googly.
Go for it, Shane.
I want you to get a head start on me here and win.
Well, WizKid, I think about James McDonald.
Okay, that's wrong.
No. Why would you think about James McDonald? He doesn't ride WizKid.
I know, but I don't remember who rides WizKid, or else I would have just said it.
Who is it, Shane?
Race last year in the sprint.
Okay.
Harry Bentley rode it.
He's got a good
Harry
name.
Bentley.
It's Harry Bentley. So Harry Bentley, how about that record on favourites? It's a fantastic stat for Harry, isn't it? And I would have never picked that. It's not an easy one to get, but he's got a better record than anybody in Hong Kong on riding favourites. Gets it done 37.3% of the time. He gets on a favourite, he wins.
Oh, you can call me the lantern. I'm a bit dim and you've got to carry me because it gives me great pleasure to announce our star power guest coming up is Harry Bentley. Wonderful to have our star power guest as a young gun who's riding in terrific form. Welcome back to the show, Harry Bentley. Great to have you on the show, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Yeah, cheers for having me and good to see you all.
And all those suspensions are behind you now. You're launching into some good form.
Yeah, that's it. I unfortunately had a couple of days suspension last week, so headed off to Thailand for a few days, which was quite nice, and played a bit of golf, which was good to have a bit of a recharge and ready to hit the ground now.
Ready to hit the ground, Harry, and overall the season, it's been a little bit topsy-turvy for you. Like I said, it's hard to get the momentum up, I suppose, with those suspensions, but we've just read out some stats with you, which we won't sort of mention too much with Richo because he failed the exam, but you certainly, you've got some records there that you should be very proud of since you've been in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I'm certainly really happy with how my time here has gone so far. I mean, naturally, you always want to improve and better what your stats are and always working towards that. But it's been a little bit of a slow start to the season. Might be an understatement, but, it's tough. And I had a lot of momentum, I found, towards the back end of last season, and I was just hoping to carry that through. But I don't think it really works like that here. I think you really start from a clean sheet at the beginning of the season and you just have to work to get those contacts once again and hope that support and momentum comes.
Maybe you can get that momentum following the January Cup. It was a Group 3. You won that feature event at the Valley and you haven't really had a lot of good rides, but you certainly got a good ride here and you made the most of it. What was your take on the performance?
Well, yeah, I thought it was a fantastic performance. I mean, the pace was very slow early. Once Hugh took off down the back straight, I was quite happy that he was going to inject a little bit of speed into the race. And then just on the bend, he got forced out a little bit from the horse on the inside, which just made him have to work a little bit around the bend. But credit to the horse, once he straightened up, he really knuckled down and I thought won with a little bit of in hand in the end.
Another horse you got a pretty good association with is actually a horse by the name of Honlock Golf.
Yeah.
Who, I want to talk a bit about this horse, Harry, because he fooled me. After the win, he came out and trialled, and I thought, obviously, he doesn't like the dirt in retrospect, but I mean, his trial following his debut win was, I would have said, lacklustre, and that's putting it mildly, but he's clearly a racehorse.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I mean, his first run, they went a really good gallop in front and I just didn't chase the speed. And to be honest, they probably fell apart really in front of me and he was able to pick up the pieces and stay on really well. So I was a little concerned that even that 1200 could have just taken him off his feet next time. But credit to the horse, he found another gear, I found, and really stepped up from that first performance. But his trial in between, as you say, was lackluster and didn't really give me much of a feel. But I think it's just a simple case of not enjoying that surface and much better horse on the turf.
And we also have highlighted like the debut race that he won, and we mentioned there's a stack of winners out of that race. So there's no fluke about it. He's a horse that has really good form all around him. So where do you think he can go in short?
Yeah, well, just going back to the first point you mentioned, it really was a great race that he won. I mean, some nice horses have come out of that. Where does he go from here? I think he can step up in distance. I think it's definitely an option to step up, and he's going to stay, no problem. He gives me every feel that a step up will be well within his capability. And class-wise, it's always very difficult to say, isn't it? But he's doing nothing wrong so far, and I hope he just keeps on having that little bit of improvement. But he's a really big horse, quite scopy, and feels like there's much more to come.
And Harry, these annoying fly-in Aussie/Kiwi jockeys are coming and taking all the rides on Sunday. What are you left with, 3?
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't got an awful lot to talk about for my rides on Sunday, but it's not easy once 3 really top jockeys come in and take good rides off the table. So I'm just left with 3, but that's the way it is, and I'm all for competition.
Shane, do you think Smiling Collector in particular can be a factor?
Well, he went a lot better last start. It was a second run in, and he ran 4th. It was a good run. I think it was over a mile last start. He's coming back to the 14. The horse, he didn't go bad this day. It was a good run. He's definitely got the ability, but it's not going to be easy. He's going to get a good run from gate 2, but he's not easy to ride, that horse, Harry.
No, he's not. I've ridden him a few times now, and he needs to be delivered probably as late as you can. And he's not the most straightforward, but I think it's a race with some promising types.
Yes.
I thought Seamus Storm was a really good runner first time up. And then obviously horses like Jolly Ruler dropping down in class is going to be quite tough to contend with, albeit from a wide draw. But he has got the ability, if he gets a nice run, which he should do from that gate, and if all stars align, then he can be thereabouts.
Harry, you mentioned golf. You've been playing a bit of golf, and I spy with my little eye you've been hanging out with some pretty high-profile sporting personalities, including Tommy Fleetwood. Does Tommy give you any sort of little golf tips, if you like?
Well, as you can probably tell by the photo, it was a while ago.
Yeah, that's right. Have a look at Tommy. Yeah. Tommy's aged a lot more than you.
And also Joe Root on the right-hand side there. So it was I remember that day well, quite a few years ago now. But unfortunately, I did not bring my A game that day.
No.
I played with Johnny Burstow as well, and I didn't do myself any favours. So I haven't had a follow-up game, put it that way.
Yeah, he didn't leave the crease early again, did he?
It was way before then.
Oh, cheap shot.
And of course, hey, look, this riding stuff's going beautifully for you. But if you want a change in career, can I suggest you should consider auditioning as the next James Bond?
Wow.
Have a look at you there, fancy pants.
There was a good editor, I think, on that photo shoot.
That wouldn't have hurt your chances, would it?
That look. I think they've got a big one of the big days coming up for the Jockey Club is Gentleman's Day. In fact, is it this weekend? I'm not sure. They've got a Gentleman's Day, don't they, where a lot of the men dress up.
Oh, surely we're they're flying us over us gentlemen.
Well, they have a ladies' day.
We'll have our bow ties on.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Mate, you look like that little fashion stuff. Do you enjoy that a touch?
It's not really. It doesn't come too naturally. But we've got a lot of events on here with the Jockey Club, and there are plenty of things you get invited to, which slightly take you out your comfort zone. As you say, we're used to riding horses and not posing for the cameras, so it's all right. Some of it I quite enjoy.
Yeah, it takes a few of you out of your comfort zone. Is there anyone who doesn't take out of their comfort zone? Who laps it up?
Oh, yeah.
Which one of them loves it?
Alexi Padel.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes.
Oh, he loves it. He's in the wrong game.
Mate,
there we go.
I had a double-breasted suit on. I was that excited when I saw Alexi Badel had one, so I knew I was on point.
Oh, okay.
Because he is quite the fashionista, isn't he?
There he is, quite clearly. Yeah, okay. Well, there we go.
Gerard Mosse.
Oh.
Yes.
Back in the day.
No one can pull off the white gloves quite like Gerard.
No.
Harry
didn't leave much cologne in the bottle either.
A little bit of love dust. Fantastic. Hey, Harry, always, mate. Great to catch up with you. Keep up the good form, mate.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
There's Harry Bentley. Great insight to his career in Hong Kong. He's doing a terrific job. Hey, let's get into global racing. Global racing through the lens of the World Pool, and World Pool 2 races, the 2 Group 1s on Sunday at Sha Tin are part of the World Pool, so that's going to be fantastic for everyone around the world to be betting into the Stewards Cup and also the Centenary Sprint Cup, which we've spoken about, and there will be one very, very dominant sprinter. But then you can see, Hutch, in the coming weeks, there's a lot for us to get involved in.
And what I love about some of these meetings as well, as you can see on the 25th of January, we're racing, in the UAE, Meydan, of course. The Railway Stakes Day, that's been added, of course, from New Zealand. Great to have New Zealand on board, and we switch focus over to South Africa. It is a feast of racing in just that one day, and that's a theme that really spreads itself, through the year as well, as you can see here. So we're taking, some of the better meetings, or the best meetings, I should say, from around the globe, and here is a list of all of them in the coming months.
Shane, did you ride in South Africa amongst your great career?
No, I didn't. I had an opportunity a lot of times I could have gone, but I didn't. But just going back to the Railway Stakes meeting in a couple of weeks, I won that race in 1998. I flew back from Australia to ride Coogee Walk for Dave O'Sullivan. I think Lance had a broken leg and couldn't ride, and it won. Right. Here's a little bit of history for you, Richo. My grandfather won it 50 years before.
Really?
Yeah, 50 years it was.
Oh, who's your grandfather's name?
Vic.
Oh, fantastic.
He's, of course, passed now, but Vic Dye, yeah. So he won it, and I won it 50 years to the day ahead. So.
And Craig Williams has now announced that he's going to be going over and riding in that Railway Stakes meeting over in New Zealand as well. You also saw the UAE, and from a Hong Kong focus, we'll start to really zero on that because Romantic Warrior is over in the Middle East. He's prepping up, getting ready for the Jebel Hatta, of course, which is on the Friday night in Dubai time. So that'll be early hours of the morning in Australia, or make your assessment if you're watching from Hong Kong as to what time it's on. But can't wait to see him in action.
Bold, ambitious plans from the owner and Danny Shum, and I just applaud them. It's so exciting. We all love him. He's got a huge following in Australia as well after his success in the Cox Plate and following Hong Kong racing, and we hope he can go there and deliver as he has been.
So James McDonald's got some sort of a busy schedule, isn't he? Back from suspension, and whether he rides in Queensland, whether he rides in Sydney, and then jumps on a plane, rides in Hong Kong on Sunday, of course, and then gets to the UAE as well to partner up with the champ, which is Romantic Warrior. All right, our best bets. Best bets, Hutch, where do we go?
Oh, well, it's a good meeting. It's a very competitive meeting, but I like a couple of horses here. My best of the day, Zach Purton gets on, takes over from Andrea at Xenobod. Dave Eustace, runner by the name of Light Years Charm. He's been in a couple of slow races. He's better drawn. His sectionals have been absolutely fantastic. I think you'll see him go to another level. Outside of that, Blake Shinn flies in, Flying Luck. I think can take out the race. I think there's a couple of Quinellas only required in that race, but Flying Luck, desperately unlucky at his last outing when dragged back through the field. I think he can be a bit more positive, a little handier for Blake here. He's destined to go higher in the ratings, and I think he looks a great chance for Casper Founds as well.
The Golden Boy.
I'll go the last race, the bottom horse, race 11, number 14. Now, how do you pronounce that? Meowth?
Meowth.
Meowth.
Meowth. Meowth. He's got no weight, 119. He's going to be forward. There's not a lot of pace, and his 2 runs have been very, very good. He just got beat the other day in a strong race, and he very hard to beat.
Yeah, I generally don't like any references to cats when we're talking about horses.
Yeah, that's right.
He better start getting...
I'm glad they added that at the end of it. Exactly. I can assure you, Matty Chadwick takes the ride with me out there in the last... Well, that's our first of many shows for the new season. Golden Boy, as always, great to spend
nice
some
to be
time
here.
with you.
Good luck with the cricket, Richo. I see you're on TV all the time. You just keep turning up.
That's right. I don't do anything impressively, but I keep turning up. And I'll turn up next week for the Triple Trio. Hope you enjoyed the show.